the pod.
What? No way. I was trying to catch you in a soundbite and it didn't work. Rat.
Ah,
Oh man, what's going
rats.
on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players, an MLS podcast. We are here, no prep, just riffing off the top of our heads, our thoughts on the USMNT group and I guess the I don't even want to call it the event because it was more like a spectacle, a circus, if you will, leading up to the actual draw itself. Because just speechless at some of the things that we saw there. We'll cover all of it and more in this USMNT themed episode. And I'm joined, of course, by my buddy Connor. Connor, I think I am seeing something crazy around your neck, something I never thought I would see you wearing. But how are you doing?
I'm busy downloading one of our episodes so that we can try to get to 200 downloads.
Way! Here we go. My friends, before we dive into this, we are making crazy numbers on our episodes, both on YouTube and on audio platforms, whether it be Spotify or iTunes or wherever. I guess it's not iTunes anymore, it's Apple Podcasts, but
iTunes, you showed your age there.
do they not have iTunes anymore?
I think it's just Apple Music.
Apple Music now? Okay, I listen, I don't do Apple products really outside of Apple TV, so I'm not well aware with those sorts of things, but I don't want to take too long into some of the other stuff there. But listen, really, really fun to have the conversation today because I think we are coming out of this draw really, really with a happy view, right? So before we get into that, let's show off some really cool scarves because I think you're rocking a new one. I'm rocking a new one. Let's do it.
Do we have the same one? Oh wait, no, I know. I think I know what yours is. Yes, we did some scarf shopping together over the Thanksgiving break,
Oh,
and
that's
I
cute.
I know. Well, I'm saying you and I did. Um, and I came away with a USA scarf for the first time ever, and I went with
Yeah.
Tyler Adams because the Geo scarf was the best one, but I already have a Geo shirt, so I didn't want to look like I was a total Geo glazer.
Glaze them, glaze them. Yeah, no, very cool. I like that one. I also have a new one. You're right. I am very, very happy with this one. It came out really nicely. One nation, one team, USMNT scarf, or actually it's a USA scarf because it's not specific to the men's team or the women's team. Well, no, because it works for both teams. So I won't call it a USMNT scarf. I will call it the USA scarf. Whoa, I'm
The
super zoomed
camera is
in.
zooming.
What in the heck? Oh, it must have downloaded the thing that you. How do I turn it off? Auto frame my video.
I
Get
don't know
off.
how to turn
Oh
it off.
God, I hated all of that. No, no, no. I'm done
You got
with
to
it.
turn it back on.
Never. I hated that. That got way too close, way
It
too
really
personal.
zoomed in.
Oh man, our audio
How'd
listeners
you
are can.
turn that
Oh,
off? I want to turn mine off.
I listen. I hit the video button and I hit auto frame my video. I turned it off.
Oh.
But you shouldn't
That
do.
sucks for you.
You shouldn't do that because
Yeah,
you. I
because I
need
move
you to
around
do
all
that.
over the place.
I need you to do that.
All right, I'll keep it on.
Anyways, let's get into this. Our audio listeners have clicked off by now. That goal of 200 gone, gone. Let's dive into what was the most confusing 90 minutes I think I've ever been through. And that is the lead up to this draw. So shout out to our buddy Fabian Rankel, who went out and posted a kind of breakdown of what the schedule was supposed to be like. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull it up here and read it because he was on site for this. So here's what it was supposed to say: a rough estimate. At 12 o'clock, the opening musical performance. At 12:10, FIFA's presidential introduction. At 12:15, a second musical performance. At 12:25, the awarding of the Peace Prize, which is a whole nother thing we'll get into. At 12:30, the presentation of the FIFA World Cup 26 trophy. Why they were presenting the trophy, I have no idea, considering the games haven't been played yet. 12:35, host nation leaders take the stage. 12:40, a third musical group performance, because what is the World Cup draw without three musical performances? 12:45 to 1:50, the drawings proceeded, and at 1:50, of course, the closing musical performance. Because if three musical performances were not enough, here's a fourth one for you. We didn't start pulling names and I'm going to go back to the Athletic article, who did a really good job of outlining this. We didn't start pulling names. I believe it was supposed to be 45 minutes late, and we didn't start pulling names until I believe it was 90 minutes. I think it was double time over. The reason we did that, one, was multiple musical performances, a super cringy, like, I don't know how to describe this. Gianni Infantino got up on the stage, looked at every single grown adult sitting in that room, and said, I want everybody from the United States to chant USA, USA, USA. I want everybody from Canada to chant Canada, Canada, Canada. And then I want everybody from Mexico to chant Mexico, Mexico, Mexico. That took up like 15 minutes. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. And then, I mean, there's a lot more we'll get into, but uh, I'm assuming you didn't. I didn't actually. I watched about 10 minutes of this before I turned it off. I'm assuming you didn't get to any of it at all. Did you see any of this? Like, what are your reactions to that?
I was actually watching somebody else cover it, so I wasn't watching the like live feed of it. So I did not. The only information that I got was through other sources, other people telling me what was going on with the actual live feed.
I mean, just speechless, genuinely speechless. Like, what were they
I mean,
saying?
this is up to par though. Like, come on, do you think they're gonna host one in the US and they're not gonna mess things up royally and make it look so corny?
Infantino literally got on the thing and said, "Because we're in America, we need to make this a performance." No, you don't. No, you don't. Just
I mean, okay, that might just be a him thing. He's just kind of a clown. I
dude,
mean,
he has one of the most punchable faces I've ever seen, by the way.
very.
This guy, my word. But he gets on there, and what were these? You know, you said you were watching other people. What were they talking about? Like, what was their reaction?
So I did not get to any point where they were doing all the weird, wacky stuff. I kind of tuned in right as they were doing the draw. So I did not see any reaction to it. The only reaction I got to it was from Matt talking about the afterwards.
Which again, I'm scrolling through the Athletic article, and I had turned it off long by there, but I see a picture of the Village People performing YMCA in some of the most ridiculous outfits you ever seen, and then Donald Trump just in the back corner doing his little dance, and it's like this simulation has gone so far off the rails. Like we need to hit the reset button. I don't even know what's
That's
going
what I
on.
said. I immediately was like, take the hosting privileges away from us. Like,
Straight
honestly, we
up,
don't deserve. Just
we are
give it to
never
Canada, give it to Mexico. Like, just exclude us.
we are never beating the allegations. I mean,
No.
genuinely. Then we get to the awarding of the Peace Prize, and this is not a
The
political.
what?
The Peace Prize.
What? Why does a soccer tournament award a peace prize?
Well, and this is where I was going with this. This is not going to be a political commentary on who received the award because it went to Donald Trump, right? And we're not going to sit here and say whether he deserved it or didn't deserve it, even though I think most of us can understand where we lean on that side. However, the fact that FIFA, who just 4 years ago gave a tournament to a place that committed so many violation, like human rights violation, had hundreds of people die building stadiums, and then walked away and said they were the purveyors, I think it's purveyors of peace, and that they've been doing it for 100 years, and they're the reason why there's enough peace in the world to exist, is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I that's ludicrous. I mean that's literally you ever seen you know the meme of Obama putting the medal on himself?
Uh
That's
huh.
what this feels like. It feels like, ah, you gave us enough money,
Yeah.
we'll give you a nice reward. A pat
Yeah.
on the back from yourself.
Or at the very least they're trying to like pander to him. He's out here threatening to move cities and take games away from cities. Like, hey, instead of messing up the entire tournament we planned for 3 years, maybe just don't. We'll give you this fancy trophy and make you feel really good, right? So they know their audience at least. But then he
Yeah.
goes on, and again, I didn't at this point. I was trying to get on and watch on my work computer, which thankfully, and I say this now, thankfully, blocked me from watching it because then I didn't have to go through any of this nonsense. But I was able to catch in just in time for his speech as he was getting it. And he was, I mean, talking about war, talking about his like policy against the other people. It's like everything that you gave him this award for, he goes out in his acceptance speech just goes against all of it. It's like what are we doing here?
It's just stupid. I mean, it's really not surprising from this group though. I mean, come on. Like this is like one of the worst groups in all of the sport, probably the worst group of all the sport.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and again, yeah, at the end of the day, right? This group that, and there always is two sides of this whole like keep politics out of sport, should have been getting really frustrated at the same thing because they are literally intertwining the two. But you can tell that there wasn't a lot of pushback on that side, and you can imagine why.
This is like the Club World Cup thing all over again, where Chelsea's looking to like celebrate with the trophy and he's got to stand right in the middle of everything. It's like everything's got to be about him.
Oh, I'm absolutely just speaking of that as I'm scrolling through because the Athletic article went all the way to the start, so I'm scrolling through all of it. And just as you say that, here I am looking at a picture of him and Infantino standing around Chelsea while they lift the trophy. But again, I can guarantee you that whoever wins the World Cup, he's getting the first trophy lift. It don't matter
Yeah.
who wins, he's in the middle of it.
Yeah,
Oh man. But
guaranteed.
then eventually, and this is the funny part, where after that goes on, 12:45 is supposed to be the start, and I had the Athletic article open. So they bring the three they bring the three presidents or prime ministers or ruler, whatever their titles are, onto the stage to do a ceremonial pick. So each one put their hand into a bowl where every pick was their country, picked it out and said the United States are going in this pot. Why? And at the end of the day, why did it take 30 minutes to do it? I mean, really, this all could have been an email, really. But
Just send an email out with all the groups of the World Cup.
like, hey, by the way, here's who you're playing, right? So, anyways, we get to this point. They pull the things. I'm like, okay, finally, they're getting off the stage. We're gonna get there. And I am feverishly refreshing this feed as I'm like doing, work on the side, and I'm refreshing. I'm working on the side, refreshing. And for 15 minutes, there's no update. I'm like, why is there no update? Because they had a third musical performance go on. I'm like, why? What are we doing?
Didn't they do
Kevin,
something similar? I feel like they did something similar for the Qatar one too.
oh, I'm sure they
It
did,
took
but
like forever to get to actual draw.
and I'm sure they did, and I'm not saying that this is abnormal just for the United States. I think it's stupid in general.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think we just don't need it. Like, get on there. And by the way, outside of the nonsense of everything before it, we didn't have a single historical soccer player pulling soccer balls out or pulling countries out. Aaron Judge, who's the other one? Shaq. What are we doing? We're talking about how we're trying to grow the sport with this thing, and the biggest opportunity to put our historical legends on there, the biggest one. And we've got a basketball player, a baseball player, and I'm pretty sure Eli Manning was on the stage at one point, and then Wayne Gretzky. So every sport except soccer. It's like we're never going to beat the allegations. We're never going to do it.
Well, I mean, listen, in fairness, your options are what? Alexi Lalas or Taylor Twellman up there pulling balls?
And you know what? I'd rather that than Shaq. I would. And nothing against Shaq. I'm sure he did a great job, but I mean,
Of picking a ball out of a bowl.
well, actually, no. Let's back up here. Tom Brady was on the stage. It wasn't Eli Manning. It was Tom Brady. Tom Brady couldn't grab the ball properly. Wayne
Well,
Gretzky got up there.
he
Wayne
throws the ball. He doesn't catch it.
well, he made a joke. He's like, "Oh, maybe we need to deflate the balls." It's like, yeah, we know. But anyways, then Gretzky gets out there. He can't pronounce half the countries. He's mispronouncing them. Shaq's up there just clueless. And then Aaron Judge. I haven't seen a picture of Aaron Judge yet. I still can't confirm that he was actually there. Like, it just feels like such a missed opportunity for the way that we go about this. But again, very on par for what we do here, right?
Yeah, it's like it's on theme with like American sports culture. Like that's just how it is. Like honestly, it was very on brand. It's exactly how I would expect America to do it. Is like, oh, we're gonna show off all the flashy things that like other people know that are more well known instead of like, here's an opportunity for us to grow a sport that's on the rise within our country.
Yeah, and they missed out on it, and it's a pretty disappointing. Again, not nothing against the people who were up there, but this was a really good opportunity to put people out in there. Again, put Marcelo Balboa out there, right? Like somebody who had a really good run in the World Cup or in the national team for a long time, right? Put Bocanegra up there. Put heck, put
Just
put.
There's a whole laundry list of people from the women's team you could bring on there as well.
You know what? And you're damn right. I didn't even look that way, right? And that's on me because you're absolutely right. We could have gone and gotten Abby Wambach. We could have gotten Alex Morgan. We could have gotten Megan Rapinoe. We couldn't gotten a laundry list of people who would have had a significantly better impact than these people did, which is pretty disappointing to be fair. But we are. I'm almost there scrolling up because there were so many things here, and they unfortunately they don't have the actual things, but it took, yeah, they didn't get going until at least 1:15, which is ridiculous. But all of that being said and done, we finally got to the groups. And we're not going to do a deep dive now. When we lead up to the World Cup and MLS takes a break, we will be doing we'll transition fully into World Cup mode. But today I want to talk simply about the U.S. men's national team group because, as we said in the beginning, this is pretty much my let me back up. My friends who are not soccer people were asking, what are the odds that this actually got rigged, for in our favor? And I go, I'll let you know after the things get pulled. And then I told him about the trophy that Trump got and whatever. And I joked about it and said, I'm not saying that they rigged the group and gave Trump a fake trophy just to, appease him or whatever. But if you were gonna rig a draw like this in favor of the USMNT, this is as good as you're gonna get it. US gets Paraguay, Australia, and then the winner of a playoff that is Turkey, Kosovo, Slovakia, and Romania. And then the other reason why we're really happy about this is in Group G, who we would most likely group up with at the end of the group stages, is Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. I mean, even Belgium I would take out of that group. But let's start in our group first, and we'll talk about Group G in a second. Thoughts on the group in general, and then we'll dive into some more details.
Yeah, so I think plenty of people are gonna, probably view the US as a favorite in this group, and rightfully so. I think on paper, with the quality of players that they have, they're definitely a favorite. I think some question will come into who comes out of the European playoff. I think Turkey is an underrated side. I think they're a strong team, probably stronger than some people give them credit. I think, and and I don't mean this to be disrespectful towards any other team because everybody qualified for this team for this tournament or like is still in this tournament for a reason. But to be honest with you, if like Romania, Slovakia, Kosovo came through out of that European playoff, I'd feel even better. I feel like Turkey's definitely the strongest out of those four. But even if it is Turkey, I still feel like the US has a very good chance to top this group. And I think personally, if they do anything other than get out of like if they do not go to the next round out of this group, then I think that's a complete failure for them.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think the other thing that I'm really happy about this is even, if Turkey gets through, every team that we play, we will have played in friendlies leading up to this, and two of the three of them we will have beaten with not our best 11, which is promising to say the least, right? I think Paraguay, or rather Australia out of pot two, was probably the best you were going to get. And you think about it and you look around and maybe there were some others that maybe you wanted to pull, but it would have opened up a couple of scenarios that might have been less favorable for us. Paraguay is going to be tough, right? They play a tough game, and of course they've got former Red Bull Kaku on there, so that's obviously going to be difficult, and maybe former Red Bull goalkeeper Carlos Cornell. So double Red Bull. If we don't get former Red Bull in the USMNT, so Tim Ream's got to be there, call John Tolkien up, even give Brian White a shout, right? We need to have the Red Bull advantage if we want to beat out Paraguay. Yeah, you thought we were going USMNT. I wasn't getting a Red Bull
You
reference in
didn't
there. You're
even reference Tyler
crazy.
Adams. The disrespect.
Listen, you already did. I didn't need to. You gave your Red Bull
Not for
reference
your
right
Red Bull
right at the
pivot
start.
segment.
Right at the start. I didn't even need to.
He's literally the poster child for you guys.
And then the playoff, right, is um massive. And there were groups or teams in group four that I think would have been maybe better to get. I was thinking maybe an AFCON team that was left, so Cape Verde, for example. But you really can't blink and say anything negative about that. because of what else could have transpired. This is as
I'd
good as it's going to get.
I'd argue we got the best European playoff if we were to get any of those four.
Completely agree. No disagreements at all there. And again, Turkey we lost 2-1 to, but again, not with our best team and missing most of our starters. I think that was in a rotation window. So you can't complain at all about this draw. I want to just talk to you real quick. We have this playoff that we're talking about. Of the four, which do you want to see the most?
That's a good question. I would say probably Kosovo.
Hmm.
And I feel like and I don't have the facts to say if this is 100% certain, but it feels like this would be their first appearance in the World Cup, and I think that's pretty cool. I think it'd be cool to see them participating. As much as that may not necessarily be the best scenario for the US too, because it's like if it's your first one, you have that extra level of motivation. Uh, but I just think for the story and just like I loved seeing all these new teams make it to the World Cup. It was awesome. I'm sure there's going to be some parts of the expanded World Cup that are not going to be great, but to see all these new teams qualifying and to see like the fans celebrating when their teams qualify is awesome. So, assuming Kosovo hasn't been there before, and I'll check this up after I finish talking, but I would go with them.
Yeah, I'm looking them up right now. And by the way, we never actually sat down and spoke about this. Your thoughts on the expanded World Cup, and clearly you have it now, but um, I'm with. It seems like you're in favor of the expanded.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to see other teams getting involved because I feel like every time it's the same teams pretty much qualifying for the World Cup, and now you have so many new teams that made it this year. That's awesome. Cape Verde, Curacao, Haiti, and some of these I understand aren't technically new. Like they may have made it once before in like the 70s or 80s, but it's been so long since we've seen them in the World Cup. It's awesome to see them back included again or for their first time.
And I've got it here for you. In the World Cup, they were a part of Yugoslavia before the 2002 World Cup, because that was I mean that's what Europe looked like before then. Then when Yugoslavia got broken up, it was a part of it was in the transition to be Kosovo. It wasn't a FIFA member until 2014. They didn't qualify in the two World Cups beforehand. Now they're on their way to possibly do that, and I agree with you. I think it'd be very very cool for them. I think it'd also be very helpful for us to do that, and play against them. I do think that they're the weakest of the group. However, let me go back. I am on board with the expanded World Cup. I think it is super super cool to see these nations who have never made one before get in there, and I don't think it really brings down the quality as much as people feared it would. And I feared that too, by the way. I was worried that that would be an issue where we were going to get, you know, these lesser nations getting in, and then they were going to lose 9-0. And it's like, well, what's the point, right? But no, I think it'll be a very good time. I think Kosovo is probably the choice as well in here. Romania and Slovakia both are teams that I think would also be not terrible to get through. And even Turkey is somebody that we matched up really well with, and they have a bit of individualism about them, but they would be the toughest, I would agree. All right, well then before we go on, let's chat a little bit about Group G, because what would happen is if we win the group, or if we win the group, we come out against the third place team from Group something or other, but it eventually would get us to round of 16 against the somebody from Group G, essentially. And I might not have that right, by the way. Like I said, I was looking at this when we were working, so I was kind of doing both at the same time. But Group G was the focus for a lot of people, and that group of Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. I mean, huge, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think Belgium would be. I mean, I think it's good no matter what. I mean, even if we got Belgium, at least the storyline is really good, right? Like it's our chance for some revenge after our last World Cup appearance against them. And I also agree that I think that they're not the Belgium that was at their peak once upon a time. I feel like they're in decline. They have not been as dominant. Honestly, they've been shaky at times, vulnerable, and I think it could be an opportunity for us. And Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand, as much as I don't think any team in this tournament is going to be just a complete walk in the park where you could just turn it off and get results. I mean, we know that firsthand through just playing any game in CONCACAF. Like any team can win on any day, almost any team. And that's definitely the case here. But considering what other groups we could have gone up against, I definitely think we were fortunate to get Group G here. It feels like it's a more manageable group out of all of the groups in the World Cup. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's aligning well,
yeah,
which is going to
100%.
make the disappointment even worse.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Um, okay, so here's how it works. So once we get to the round of 32, because we are Group D winner plays the third place team from either Group B, E, F, I, or J. Cool. Or if we come in second place, this is ridiculous, by the way. If we come in second place, we get the Group G runner up. So that's how that works. And then if we come in third place, but we're one of the better third places, we play the winner of Group I.
Oh goodness, we definitely don't want that.
Who's in Group I?
Group I is France, Senegal,
Oh
the
Lord.
FIFA International Intercontinental Playoff, and Norway.
If we finish in third place in this group, first off, let's just give it to somebody else. We don't deserve to move on.
That's
Um,
very fair.
but if we somehow get through as the first, I think the first place, and again, I don't know how it's decided between B, E, F, I, or J. I don't understand. I don't know what these tiebreak. Like, this is ridiculous.
I mean, in
This is
fairness, I don't think they know either.
yeah. Well, and this is the only negative about the expanded is that they haven't described how it works well enough. So it's not like they're saying, oh, the third place from Group B is going to go here, or Group E is going to go here. They're just like, oh yeah, it's going to be random. Before we wrap this up, I want to talk about just the thing as a whole, just on paper. I guess what you would most closely call the group of death.
I don't think there's a group this year that's like the standout where you're like, wow, that's crazy. Like, how did these guys get grouped together? My instant reaction when I was watching the draw was to go to Group I. I did think that I felt like whoever got Norway was probably going to be the group of death because Norway being in pot three was always going to be tough because they're a team that plays at a quality better than I would say the normal pot three team. So my instant reaction went to Group I. I do think that the whatever team comes out of the FIFA Intercontinental Playoff Tournament is like this is probably the weaker of the two in the Intercontinental Playoff Tournament. You got Bolivia, Suriname, or Iraq. But I think the other three alone are just big teams that like have a lot of history outside of like, Norway doesn't necessarily have World Cup history in recency, but Senegal is one of the dominant teams in their region. France is a dominant team across the entire world. And then Norway is like a really up and coming team. I think that could be a bloodbath in that group.
I very much agree, and that was instantly my first thought was my goodness. Um, and whoever comes out of that tiebreaker is in for it. I mean, to be fair, but um, yeah, France, Senegal, Norway is going to be a huge one. I'm really excited to see which because there's always one or two African teams that move on and do really really well, go deep in the tournament. Last year it was Morocco, of course, and I'm interested to see if they can continue that. I think that there is a couple of other really decent ones in there, but yeah, Group I is to me the big one. I mean just you look at every and by the way, Mexico and Canada also relatively locked out here. You're looking at it.
Canada could have a tough one because in their European playoff group is Italy. So if Italy gets that spot, that's actually a tough
We
group.
keep doing this thing with Italy, like, oh my God, if they get in, they're going to be dangerous. Italy haven't made a World Cup since like 2006.
I
Like,
know, but in
what are we
between that time,
doing?
they are good. They
They're
like
not
dominate the
though.
Euros.
They're not though. What are they
They
doing in the Euros
are.
right now? What are they doing in the Euros? I don't even know. They're not that good. Like, and by the way, I'm not saying like they're going to be the worst team in the tournament. Of course not. But everybody's hyping them up because of 2006. They're not the team that they used to be.
Of course, yeah, but they're not like walkovers either.
They're not. But what I'm saying is, right, I think Switzerland is something they can deal with. Qatar is something they can deal with. And whoever comes out of the tiebreaker might be tough, right? And by the way, there's the other thing is you can be a third place team and move on. So it's not like you're dead in the water if you don't. But Mexico
Mhm.
getting South Africa is and South Korea, I think are two matchups they're going to be happy with. So that'll be fun. All right. And then after all this was done, by the way, that we won't even talk about the YMCA at the end, but that was another nightmare. But listen, World Cup fever, 187 days away. We are 6 months away, give or take, from the greatest sporting event in the world. I can't wait, man. I am the problem is I'm gonna have to find a way to get games while I'm working because I just learned I cannot watch them on the work Wi-Fi or on the work Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna have to work around that. Listen, what a nightmare this whole thing was. All could have been an email, but it's over. It's done. I'm really excited to get on and do this. Um, Anything else you want to add before we call it?
Yeah, the World Cup was a lot more exciting when I had no idea what was going on and I could just go rah rah USA. Now I understand and there's so much more stress to it.
Well, the other thing was that I loved was I loved it when I was in grad school because I took my computer to work every day and I just set it up on the side and I was mixing my powders and I'm watching the game and I'm mixing my powders and I'm watching the game and then I went home and I watched more and I was like, you know what? This ain't half bad. But now
Yeah.
I'm an adult. Now I'm an adult and I have to do adult things. So we'll
Yeah.
have to find ways around that. But thanks everybody for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next time. But before we see you next time, make sure you're following us so you know when next time is. Social media, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. We're getting very close to milestones, people. Keep going. And then, of course, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you give us a rating and a like and a share. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell people you don't like. I don't care. But thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players and MLS podcast. See ya.